Hi, my name is Kelly Broadhead. I'm one of the professors in the Department of Biomedical Engineering and an undergraduate advisor, and I've been asked to go through our orientation packet with you today. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to go through the presentation that Erica Fernley did on the advising sheet and have looked at that. If not, I want you to go back and watch that module. And we're going to go through it again in this presentation, but before that, we're going to go through just the packet and make sure you understand all the material that are here and then hit that. So on our first page here, we have our introduction to biomedical engineering, what is it about, and some information in different areas of focus that you can go through when you're doing your degree and get skills in these particular areas. Now, these are not all the areas that exist in biomedical engineering, but these are some of them that we are proud of the work here at the University of Utah and feel that you'd have an excellent opportunity to get involved in doing research in these areas as an undergraduate. Now, in our packet, we have this introductory page that goes through and outlines some of the areas of what biomedical engineers work in and career opportunities that exist, and that's the information that's on the left-hand side of the page. And on the right-hand side of the page is our typical four-year plan of study that is laid out for a student who is coming in ready to start calculus in their first semester. And it goes through and gives each of the courses that you need to go through in the sequence that exists. Now keep in mind that biomedical engineering courses are only offered one time a year for the undergraduates. And many of the graduate classes are actually only offered once every other year. So you need to make plans fairly early on if you want to take some of these as part of your engineering electives. So when you lay out a plan, make sure that if you see classes that are showing on the left-hand side of the page here, that you're aware that those classes are only offered in the fall, and that classes that are offered on the right-hand side of the column are only offered in the spring semester. And so plan accordingly as you go through and put together your plans in the future, that you understand these things, that when they are offered. Now, one of the great tools that we have on our website is actually an outline of all of our courses. And so if you ever are wondering about a biomedical engineering class, you can use our website as a great way to go through and look at that material. On this page, we also have some of the key contact information for the biomedical engineering advisors. And so you can quickly find our information there. By way of information, preferred way to communicate with us is by email, and to even make it more streamlined, use your UMail to address us, because we actually have to correspond back to you with any kind of what is called FERPA or educationally restricted material. It has to go through your UMail account. So if you email us through your UMail, then we can directly correspond back to you. Otherwise, we'd have to then look up your email address and then send it back out the other direction. So this again is the advising record sheet that we want you to fill out. The one that's in this packet is fillable, and we'll also make one that's available directly on the Canvas page you can just get a hold of and fill out. It has all the different areas we need to fill out here in blue. It won't have these particular things in it. So you're going to start from scratch and filling yours out with those particular courses, and we're going to go through those in a minute. So we'll come back and talk about that. So the next couple of pages in this packet talk about math placement, the chemistry and biomedical engineering classes that you need to take in your first year, and then some classes that you would start in your second semester and even into your second year, so we don't need to worry about those, but they're in here for your information. And then about general ed, you've already hopefully gone through general ed modules before, but this one here will introduce you some of the ways that you can go ahead and get some of these double counted. And we'll come back and hit on that later in this lecture. And then how you handle AP classes, which ones are going to count towards your degree. And then some information about how to balance out your workload and the type of credit load that you should have compared to work outside of school, research activities, or volunteer work, and how this all balances out so you have an appropriate workload that doesn't end up overwhelming you. And then finally, a plan or a mapping here of how hard the major is across time. And we'll talk on these a little bit later again. And then the last piece is in here is some information on how to register for classes. There's a module that you can go through and talk about that we're going to have on our Canvas page, but also these slides have, or the PDF document has this information available for you to look at in a very summary fashion. And there's a couple pages in here that goes through and talks about those pieces. And then finally, there's some information here on important dates and helpful websites you can use. Keep in mind the dates that are listed on here are based on the current outline for the academic fall semester. However, these are subject to change as they finally lock into what they're going to do with fall semester this year because of the COVID-19 issue. And then finally, an invitation for you to participate in the Biomedical Engineering Society, which is a great organization to participate in as an undergraduate to help you get a strong networking group and to get some exposure to what biomedical engineers are doing with some of these different activities. So take a look at that, and I highly encourage you to get involved. So let's go back now and talk about some of these pieces in more detail.